Hello again, my lovely, beautiful, amazing people. Welcome to Friday Faith Sessions. I am Brianna. I am again here live on YouTube, right here, and Facebook over here. Hi. Um, so today is Friday, August the 13th, 2021, and boy, am I late. Uh, my sister texted me and she was like, "Are you going live today?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm just running a little bit behind." Um, let me just get the announcements out of the way. So again, as I mentioned before, the Desmoid Tumor Research Foundation is having their annual Running for Answers at the moment. Um, so the Desmoid community, patients and caregivers are fundraising so that the Desmoid Tumor Research Foundation can continue their research, continue their study of this particular rare disease to try and find cures, treatment options, things of that sort. It is very rare. And the people that it affects, a lot of times, um, because they're still finding out things about it, everything's kind of like experimental for the most part. Clinical trials and things of that sort. The fact of the matter is that in order for them to do these things, they need money. And so every year, the Desmoid Tumor Research Foundation hosts a RFA, Running for Answers 5K walk run. It's typically in person, but because of COVID, the last 2 consecutive years, we've done it virtually. The participants are able to do challenges to help them fundraise. Last year, I did do a challenge. For every $100 I raised, I walked a mile. And this year, however, I'm not in the same place physically I was last year, so I'm not doing any challenges. But if you would like to donate on my behalf, I would greatly appreciate it. For those of you watching on YouTube, the link is in the description box. For those of you on Facebook, you can go to my Facebook page and you'll see the link there. Um, it's very simple. It's quick and easy. You click donate. You put how much you want to donate. You put your information in there. It's secure, and by bing, bada boom, you're done. Um, I've mentioned this before. I'm going to mention it again as long as I'm talking about the Desmoid Tumor Research Foundation doing the fundraising. I do not share the beliefs that I share with you on this particular platform are not in correlation to the beliefs of the Desmoid Tumor Research Foundation. My channel is called Live, Breathe, Beat Desmoid Tumor. That is because I have dealt with, and dealing with this particular rare disease. However, my beliefs that I share are all personal. They're what I believe. So I am not standing as a spokesperson for anyone else. No other foundation, nothing like that. I just want that to be clear. I think that is that. If for any reason you would like to contact me, maybe you want to ask me a question that you don't feel like you can put in the comment section, what have you. You just want to reach out. Maybe you want to share with me your story so that I can share with others. I greatly appreciate that. Or maybe you just want to share me your story. That's fine too. You can reach me via email at one. That's the number spelled out. ONE lbBdt@gmail.com. So it's basically the first letter of each of the words in my YouTube channel. So one ONELBBDT@gmail.com if you would like to reach out to me for any reason. Today, y'all, I'm tired. I'm gonna just chit chat a little bit because I am now. I mean, I slept a little better last night than I have been sleeping just generally, but I'm not gonna lie, I am a little tired today, even though I had some so sleep. So as I mentioned last week, my first infusion was this past Monday. The chemo that I am on now is called liposomal doxorubicin, and it's one of the drugs that are being used right now to try and combat this tumor that many of us are facing. And for me, it's new. It's the one drug I haven't been on. In the past, I've had radiation. I have been on a drug called Votrient, um, sorafenib. I've had what's called a methotrexate and vinblastine combo. I did that like twice. Uh, that was more frequent. I would be getting infused weekly with that. With this, I only get infused every 3 weeks. So my first appointment was on Monday. It didn't go over too bad. It wasn't too bad. The poison, the chemo itself, I just called it poison because that's what it is. The chemo itself is like a hot red color, like Kool-Aid, fruit punch Kool-Aid. And the infusion doesn't take terribly long. They always start you off with an anti-nausea medication first. So they run that, and then they run the drug. This particular drug, what they do though, is they titrate it up. So they start you at a certain pace. So say it's like 50 mLs per hour. They start you off slow, and then they do that for about 15 minutes, and then they up it, and then they let it go in a little faster for another increment of time, and then they up it to the highest for it to go in at whatever milliliters per hour for the remainder of the time. So the infusion altogether probably takes about I would say probably about 35 to 40 minutes. But I did notice when it was going in at the start was like, it felt like I had all these little like pinchies in my veins and stuff. It would be like, I'd be sitting there like, wait a minute, oh, what's that? And it just felt like imagine getting a whole bunch of like little teeny tiny pricks all over your body like at one time, but mainly in like my midsection. That's where I felt it the most. And then after they upped it for the second time, I didn't feel it as much. And by the time they upped it to go in full speed, I didn't feel it at all. So I would say that was the only thing that I did notice with that infusion was the little pricklies and stuff. Otherwise, it wasn't bad. I always feel like an oddball when I'm at the cancer center because it's always a whole bunch of older people, like people with gray hair and you know, and they're like, tell us your birthday, and I'll be like X, Y, and Z, 90. And I'll hear other people say, oh yeah, X, Y, and Z 58 or X, Y, and Z 49. And I'm just like, yo, I'm a young bull up in here. Um, but yeah, so I mean, other than that, like I said, we are praying for the best, praying for a decent outcome, praying for just results because of everything I've been on over the past 7 years, but over the past 7 years since I've been getting retreated, nothing has really been too like not helpful in a sense, but just nothing has been made a lot of change basically. Right now, I showed you guys my belly last week, and it's swollen because of fluid buildup, and I basically have fluid retention from like the bottom of my abdomen all the way down to my ankles. Like I have swelling in my legs, I have swelling in my calves, I have swelling in my ankles. Now, yeah, I'm tiny, so it's hard to tell, but I know swelling when I have swelling. um, so I am just, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. One of the things that I try to make sure that I do is not put on face Because if I come on here and I just act like, you know, nothing affects me, nothing bothers me, who am I helping? Nobody. So I will say that this week has been semi rough, and it's more so just I haven't really been sleeping well, and I've been uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable probably like 90, what feels like 90 to 99% of the day. Between the distension of my abdomen, many of you know that I actually was in a lot of pain earlier this year, and it took a while to kind of get that under control. And now it is much more controlled, but now I'm also realizing that it's like what I'm on to control the pain seems to be starting to uh, kind of creep past what I'm on to help with the pain. So that's been a little annoying too. Um, and then I'm still having a difficulty picking up weight, and for me that's hard because like when I see myself, I mean you can see just looking at like just me lifting my arms, you can see like where's the fat, and but I can see my rib cage, I can see my sternum, I can see like every single bone in my body. I literally injured my tailbone this week. I injured it. I'm still sore. I sit down and I'm like, oh. I was sitting at my sister when we had come back on Monday. My sister did all the driving. Shout out to you, love you, girl. She did all the driving, and when we came back, we were sitting to the table getting something to eat, and I went to go pull the chair up so that I could sit further back into the chair. And there's like this bar at the bottom of the chair, and I literally hit my tailbone right on that bar, like right there. And it's so sore. It's still so sore. But I just say all that to say that the one thing that I am what I say to you guys all the time, and it's the one thing that I practice, and I have to remind myself some days to practice because I know what I'm going through. I don't know what you're going through. I know what I'm going through. And I also know the impact that I can allow it to have on me if I sit and sulk and think about how bad my situation. And I say bad because it's temporary. I say bad with the quotations because it's temporary. And then I'm reminded often I have to go back to when it was worse. I right now am in the position where eating is hard in the sense that because of there being so much room taken up in my abdomen by the tumor and by um, the fluid buildup, I'm not always hungry. Sometimes even if I want to eat, sometimes I don't want to eat. And then, like I mentioned, the pain is creeping back. So that makes me not want to eat. And it's just like, there was a time where I could not eat. If you are familiar with my story, if you watch She Named It Trevor, I go through all the details. But back when this really got started, there was about a 5-month span that I could not eat because the tumor had grown so to the point it literally smushed my digestive system. So, you eat, you swallow, it goes down your esophagus, in your stomach, and it keeps on going. Well, the tumor had made it so it stopped at my stomach. And because it couldn't go down, the only other place for it to go was up. So when I got to the point where I couldn't hold anything down, I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, chewing gum would irritate me, sucking on hard candy would irritate me. And I remember going to the doctor's office this one particular day when we were getting closer to surgery being my only option because I was too far in for chemo to really have an effect. And I remember this day so clearly, and the doctor said to me, she said that there is a very strong possibility that after surgery, you'll basically come out with absolutely no intestines. Like, I love food. Food is one of my biggest passions. I love to eat it. I love to cook it. I love to feed people. And when she told me that, I just was like, I don't think I can, that's not going to sit well with me. Because I said I'd much rather be dead than live and not be able to ever eat again. Now, I was on TPN, it was called Total Parental Nutrition, and I was basically at that point getting my nutrition to keep me alive in my veins because I could not eat. And when she told me that the possibility of me being able to eat ever again was slim to none, I said, oh, see, there's only one thing I can do about that, and that's be careful about my words. And so from that moment on, I would rant, and I'm taking y'all back to 2013. I would say these words out loud, especially whenever I thought about it. Whenever I thought about not being able to eat again, I would say, my bowels would live and I will eat again. Because I could not imagine a life not being able to eat. I couldn't. And I would say it, and I would say it, and I would say it. And although my body was in a different place, my body was in the opposite of what I was saying, I kept on saying it because I couldn't. My bowels will live and I will eat again. And this is, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks before I found out I would have surgery because chemo wasn't working. And so when I finally had surgery and when I came out from surgery, to find out that even though I didn't have a full length of a digestive tract, I still had enough that would allow me the ability to eat again. Now, if my body would take some adjusting to that, but I will be able to eat again. And that was huge for me, especially because I met someone who was in the predicament that I could have possibly been in, where he met with all the wrong people, ended up losing all of his intestines. He had no digestive tract, and basically he was going to be stuck on TPN unless he was able to get some type of a full bowel transplant or he was basically going to be stuck on TPN for the rest of his life. And he was already, at that time, I think he was in his probably late 30s or early 40s. And so I say all that to say that, like, whatever you do, make sure that you are speaking into your life what it is that you want to create for your future. Our words truly do have power. And I now, even though I'm going through with my eating again, I refuse to believe that this is it. I know for a fact that things will get better. Things will change. This too shall pass. Because it has to. It got better before, it'll get better again. And I'm sure I gave this scripture once before, but I'm going to give it again because, it's necessary to be reminded that your words have power. It's necessary to be reminded that in the circumstance you're in the situation you're in, you have to be so careful. So careful of what it is that you say. You really do. And so I'm going to read to you, y'all know I like to give it to you at least three different versions because then it kind of helps bring it down. So I'm going to Proverbs 18, 20, and 21. First, I'm going to give you the NIV, then the Message, then the Amplified. So Proverbs 18, 20, and 21 says, "From the fruit of their mouth a person's stomach is filled. With the harvest of their lips they are satisfied. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." And in the Message, it says, again, this is Proverbs 18, 20, and 21. "Words satisfy the mind as much as fruit does the stomach. Good talk is as gratifying as a good harvest. Words kill, words give life. They're either poison or fruit. You choose." And lastly, I'm going to give it to you in the Amplified. Proverbs 18, 20, and 21 says, "A man's moral self shall be filled with the fruit of his mouth, and with the consequences of his words he must be satisfied, whether good or evil. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they who indulge in it eat the fruit of it, for death or life." I am living life, not death, today because I chose to speak life when I was at a point in my life where it seemed like I was surrounded by nothing but death. So, again, y'all, I'm sorry that I am tired today. Well, I'm not sorry. It is what it is. But thank you for tuning in. You guys have a great weekend. Again, if you would like to donate on my behalf to the Desmond Tumor Research Foundation, you can find the link on my Facebook page, or you can find the link in the description box below on the YouTube channel. My YouTube channel name is Live, Breathe, Beat Desmond Tumor. Find me, subscribe. If you need to contact me, email me at 1lbbdt@gmail.com. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the weather wherever you are. Keep your head up. Keep moving. Whatever you do, don't stop believing. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Speak life. Choose life over death. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys prayerfully next week. We'll see how next week goes. I'll be out of town. So, till then, adios. Toodles. Have a great weekend.